Good morning, good afternoon. Kent Beam with Nine Business Group and Elevate Your Business Chat. We have the pleasure of Sandy Francham joining us today. Sandy, welcome to the program. Please introduce yourself, your company name, but more importantly, what you do and what makes you guys unique about your business.
Well, as I said, I'm Sandy Francham of Francham Properties. I'm a real estate investor. So I partner with investors to buy long-term buy and hold rental properties and then manage them. So the best way to understand what I do is when people are investing for their retirement, they have some different choices out there. And the people who invest with me are choosing to buy a rental property instead of an RRSP. So we become partners in the business. They are leveraging my time and expertise, and I'm leveraging their down payment funds. So yeah, that's the short and dirty of it. I'm also a realtor. I love the work that I do as a realtor, and I especially love working with new home buyers. I have a lot to offer from my many years in the industry and learning with our own properties, and certainly love dealing with investors looking for investment properties on the realtor side as well. Bit of an expert in legalizing existing secondary suites here in the city, with having done over 50 of those. In fact, soon I'll be shooting a video helping the city to explain the legalization process for investors in Calgary. So yeah, I'm dipping my foot a little bit into development in the next few years. We have a couple of properties that we're going to do some development on. So that's brand new and pretty exciting for us.
Absolutely. Well, and thank you for doing that, because having been in the residential and commercial property space for a while, there's, as we talked about before, lots of changing rules, but even helping new people enter that market and understand it better, because I think it is a good way to save for retirement. It's a good way to create leverage in a portfolio. So keep up the good work. In the years you've been doing it, what has been the biggest challenge you've faced, overcome? What it looked like today, and how did you solve it?
The biggest challenge is the pulls on my own time. And so I always say, with growing my business, when I first started, I did everything. And I dragged my husband in to help me with things on the weekend when I needed. So my biggest challenge has been, I explain it as I have a bowl, and the bowl I have is all of the time and the tasks that I have. And there's been several times during my development of this business where I feel like the bowl is so full. I can't put anything more in the bowl. So I have two choices. I have to take some things out, so get some other people to do some of these things for me, or get a bigger bowl. So that's been the challenge, is just dealing with my own limitations on time. It's certainly not desire, it's time.
When you figured how to clone yourself, let the rest of us know, please.
Sure, no problem. Well, what I'm really good at is developing systems. So figuring out how to do something efficiently and put a system in place, and then be able, and that's what's helped me grow, is be able to say, okay, I can't do bookkeeping in-house anymore. I need that outsourced, and here's how I need it organized, and here's the reports that I need, and here's how the paper's going to flow, and organize it all, and then get someone to do it. So there's solutions there. They take time.
They sure do. What is one thing you know now that you wish you would have known when you started in business 50 doors ago?
Okay. I have become very good at looking at my properties and figuring out where should I be spending money on properties. So, keeping them in really great repair is one thing, and I've always done that, but also updating them so that when the market is tough, like we have a very cyclical market in Calgary, like we're not so steady. We have big highs and big lows. And when the market is tougher for finding tenants, my properties now stand out from others because I figured out what to do to make them very attractive to tenants. What I wish I would have learned right at the beginning is to make sure that when rents are high and we're making good cash flow, to make sure that I put a lot of that money back into the properties to renovate them. I would put a lot of it down to pay down the mortgages, which is also an intelligent thing to do. But I think about 5 years in, I realized like, oh, I need to do more updating on my properties for when the times are tough.
That's great advice. If there was a pirate, a thief in your business, what would they be stealing from you?
What would they be stealing from me? If they were looking at what our best assets are, it's probably grit. They would take away all my grit. They would take away all my determination that there's always a solution. And yeah, they would take away my resourcefulness. They would take away the relationships that I've built with people and the helping nature that I have, which has always come back to help me.
I love it. It's one of my best answers. I've had a lot of fun with that question, and it's always something neat. Well, what I find is, in general, we all have challenges in business, but asking, what's your biggest challenge leaves the converse kind of boring, but how we perceive what's important or valuable to us is the most important thing. And that's why we enter the world as entrepreneurs. We have things that we bring to the table that we want to express. We had one fellow last week talking about almost the same as you, his motivation. Another lady last week from Edmonton 2 weeks ago talked about her team culture and how much fun they have. I mean, that stuff is hard to protect, but once you have it, you sure have to embrace it. Being in the real estate business, slightly different, maybe your definition is the same. What's your definition of a successful business?
For me, a couple of different things. So I think if a business is successful, they are successful in a few different buckets. One of them's got to be financial. And for me, success in business is not how much revenue you have, it's the profit at the end. So I have found that a lot of people are driven by the money coming in the door. We need more clients, we need more money in, and they focus on that. And they're not running a real tight ship. And what's left at the end of the day is maybe a little less sexy. So for me, financially, it's got to be the net profit at the end. And that's what makes a business successful. Someone could be making more money on a business that's bringing in 500K instead of $1 million, but you don't see that unless you're looking at all the numbers. So that's the financial bucket. The bucket of, what the team that you're building, or the greater focus you have, like, why does your company exist? What problem are you solving? And why does your company make the world a better place? Has to be really clear with everyone that's working in that business. And it has to be consistent and known by all. And then I think company culture, I think it's super important, to hire, fire, promote based on what your company values are. And when you have all people who agree that these are the things that we hold true and dear, then you can really do some great things.
Yeah, I agree. One last question for you. What do you want to be known for?
What am I known for? Well, my mother named me well. So my name, the meaning of my name is helper of mankind. Maybe a little outdated. It should be just like helper of humankind or something. But and I think that's it's funny that that's what the name Sandra means. Although don't call me that. Only my mom calls me that when she's really angry. And it's been really, I'm on a good streak. She hasn't called me Sandra for many years. So, but yeah, helper of mankind. I feel really great when I can do something that really makes a difference to someone else.
Good for you. I love it. One last plug before we wrap up. Thank you. You've been a great guest. The humor's fantastic. You put a lot of passion in what you do, and it shows. Thank you for that. For those out there who find this and want to learn more about the investment property space, how to use residential property to leverage and create better retirement quality of life, where can they find you? How would you like to be contacted?
By email is great. So my email is Francham Properties. That's FRANSHAM Properties @shaw.ca, and that we can start there. Yeah, and I love to help people to invest for their future. But also if they have questions about legalizing secondary suites, or they're looking for someone to help them purchase a rental property, I always say to anyone buying a rental property, if you are not working with a team, including a mortgage broker, a realtor, property inspector who owns rental properties themselves and really understands that space, then you're not doing yourself service. You got to build the right team. So for those people in those spaces, yeah, I have something to offer.
Excellent. Thanks again. Thank you very much. Have an amazing day, and not to give away where we live, but stay warm.
Okay, will do. Take care. Thank
Have
you.
a great day. Bye-bye.